Act 1, Scene 2. Enter Julia and Lucetta. But say, Lucetta, now we are alone, wouldst thou then counsel me to fall in love? Ay, madame, so you stumble not unheedfully. Of all the fair resort of gentlemen that every day with parley encounter me, in thy opinion which is worthiest love? Please you repeat their names, I'll show my mind according to my shallow simple skill. What think'st thou of the fair Sir Eglamour? As of a knight, well spoken, neat, and fine, but were I you, he never should be mine. What think'st thou of the rich Mercutio? Well, of his wealth, but of himself so. What think'st thou of the gentle Proteus? Lord, to see what folly reigns in us. How now? What means this passion at his name? Pardon, dear madame, 'tis a passing shame that I, unworthy body as I am, should censure thus on lovely gentlemen. Why not on Proteus, as of all the rest? Then thus, of many good, I think him best. Your reason? I have no other but a woman's reason. I think him so because I think him so. And wouldst thou have me cast my love on him? Ay, if you thought your love not cast away. Why, he of all the rest hath never moved me. Yet he of all the rest I think best loves ye. His little speaking shows his love but small. Fire that's closest kept burns most of all. They do not love that do not show their love. Oh, they love least that let men know their love. I would know his mind. Peruse this paper, madame. To Julia? Say from who? That the contents will show. Say, who gave it thee? Sir Valentine's page, and sent, I think, from Proteus. He would have given it you, but I, being in the way, did in your name receive it. Pardon the fault, I pray. Now, by my modesty, a goodly broker, dare you presume to harbor wanton lines? To whisper and conspire against my youth? Now, trust me, 'tis an office of great worth, and you an officer fit for the place. There, take the paper, see it be returned, or else return no more into my sight. To plead for love deserves more fee than hate. Will ye be gone, that you may ruminate? And yet I would I had o'erlooked the letter. It were a shame to call her back again, and pray her to a fault for which I chide her. What fool is she, that knows I am a maid, and would not force the letter into my view? Since maids in modesty say no to that which they would have the profferer construe aye. Fie, how wayward is this foolish love, that like a testy babe will scratch the nurse, and presently all humbled kiss the rod. How churlishly I chide Lucetta hence, when willingly I would have her here. How angrily I taught my brow to frown, when inward joy enforced my heart to smile. My penance is to call Lucetta back, and ask remission for my folly past. What ho, Lucetta? What would your ladyship? It's near dinner time. I would it were, that you might kill your stomach on your meat, and not upon your maid. What, is that you took up so gingerly? Nothing. Why didst thou stoop, then? To take a paper up, then I let it fall. Is that paper nothing? Nothing concerning me? Then let it lie for those that it concerns. Madame, it will not lie where it concerns, unless it have a false interpreter. Some love of yours hath writ to you in rhyme, that I may sing it, madame, to a tune Give me a note, your ladyship can set. As little by such toys as may be possible. Best sing it to the tune of Light o' Love. Oh, it's too heavy for so light a tune. Heavy? Belike it hath some burden then. Aye, and melodious were it. Would you sing it? And why not you? I cannot reach so high. Let's see your song. She tries to grab the letter. How now, minion? Keep tune, there still, so you will sing it out. And yet methinks I do not like this tune. You do not? No, madame, 'tis too sharp. You, minion, are too saucy. Nay, now you are too flat, and mar the concord with too harsh a descant. There wanteth but a mean to fill your song. The mean is drowned with your unruly bass. Indeed, I bid the bass for Proteus. Julia grabs the letter. This babble shall not henceforth trouble me. Here is a coil with protestation. She tears the letter and drops the pieces. Lucetta motions to pick them up. Go, get you gone, and let the papers lie. You would be fingering them to anger me. She makes it strange, but she would be best pleased to be so angered with another letter. Nay, would I were so angered with the same. She picks up pieces of the letter. Oh, hateful hands to tear such loving words, injurious wasps to feed on such sweet honey, and kill the bees that yield it with your stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Look, here is writ, kind Julia, unkind Julia, as in revenge of thy ingratitude I throw thy name against the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ, love wounded Proteus. Poor wounded name, my bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy wound be thoroughly healed. And thus I search it with a sovereign kiss. But twice or thrice was Proteus written down. Be calm, good wind, blow not a word away, till I have found each letter in the letter, except mine own name, that some whirlwind bear unto a ragged, fearful hanging rock, and throw it thence into the raging sea. Lo, here in one line is the name twice writ. Poor forlorn Proteus, passionate Proteus. To the sweet Julia that I'll tear away. And yet I will not. Sith so prettily he couples it to his complaining names. Thus will I fold them, one upon another. Now kiss, embrace, contend. Do what you will. Madame, dinner is ready, and your father stays. Well, let us go. What, shall these papers lie like telltales here? If you respect them, best to take them up. Nay, I was taken up for laying them down. Yet here they shall not lie for catching cold. She picks up pieces of the letter. I see you have a month's mind to them. Aye, madame, you may say what sights you see. I see things too, although you judge I wink. Come, come, will it please you go? And Act 1, Scene 3. Enter Antonio and Pantino. Tell me, Pantino, what sad talk was that wherewith my brother held you in the cloister? 'Twas of his nephew, Proteus, your son. Why, what of him? He wondered that your lordship would suffer him to spend his youth at home, while other men of slender reputation put forth their sons to seek preferment out, some to the wars, to try their fortunes there, some to discover islands far away, some to the studious universities? For any or for all these exercises, he said that Proteus your son was meet, and did request me to importune you, to let him spend his time no more at home, which would be great impeachment to his age, in having known no travel in his youth. Nor needst thou much importune me to that, whereon this month I have been hammering. I have considered well his loss of time, and how he cannot be a perfect man, not being tried and tutored in the world. Experience is by industry achieved, and perfected by the swift course of time. Then tell me, whither were I best to send him? I think your lordship is not ignorant how his companion, youthful Valentine, attends the emperor in his royal court. I know it well. 'Twere good, I think, your lordship sent him thither. There shall he practice tilts and tournaments, hear sweet discourse, converse with noblemen, and be in eye of every exercise, worthy his youth and nobleness of birth. I like thy counsel. Well hast thou advised, and that thou mayest perceive how well I like it, the execution of it shall make known, even with the speediest expedition. I will dispatch him to the emperor's court. Tomorrow, may it please you, Don Alfonso, with other gentlemen of good esteem, and journeying to salute the emperor, and to commend their service to his will. Good company. With them shall Proteus go. Enter Proteus with a letter, unaware of Antonio and Pantino's presence. And in good time, now will we break with him. Sweet love, sweet lines, sweet life, here is her hand, the agent of her heart. Here is her oath for love, her honor's pawn. Oh, that our fathers would applaud our loves, to seal our happiness with their consents. O heavenly Julia! How now? What letter are you reading there? May it please your lordship, 'tis a word or two of commendations sent from Valentine, delivered by a friend that came from him. Lend me the letter. Let me see what news. There is no news, my lord, but that he writes how happily he lives, how well beloved, and daily graced by the emperor, wishing me with him partner of his fortune. And how stand you affected to his wish? As one relying on your lordship's will, and not depending on his friendly wish. My will is something sorted with his wish. Muse not that I thus suddenly proceed, for what I will, and there an end. I am resolved that thou shalt spend some time with Valentinus in the emperor's court. What maintenance he from his friends receives, like exhibition thou shalt have from me. Tomorrow be in readiness to go. Excuse it not, for I am peremptory. My lord, I cannot be so soon provided. Please you deliberate a day or two. Look, what thou want'st shall be sent after thee. No more of stay. Tomorrow thou must go. Come on, Pantino. You shall be employed to hasten on his expedition. Exit Antonio and Pantino. Thus have I shunned the fire for the burning, and drenched me in the sea where I am drowned. I fear to show my father Julia's letter, lest he should take exceptions to my love, and with the vantage of mine own excuse hath he accepted most against my love. Oh, how this spring of love resembleth the uncertain glory of an April day, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by a cloud takes all away. Enter Pantino. Sir Proteus, your father calls for you. He is in haste, therefore I pray you go. Why, this it is. My heart accords thereto, and yet 1,000 times it answers no. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Valentine and Speed. Valentine drops a glove. Sir, your glove. Not mine. My gloves are on. Why, then this may be yours, for this is but one. Huh, let me see it. I give it me. It's mine. Sweet ornament that decks a thing divine. Ah, Sylvia, Sylvia. Madame Sylvia, Madame Sylvia. How now, sirrah? She is not within hearing, sir. Why, sir, who bade you call her? Your worship, sir, or else I mistook. Well, you'll still be too forward. And yet I was last chiden for being too slow. Go to, sir, tell me, do you know Madame Sylvia? She that your worship loves? Why, how know you that I am in love? Marry, by these special marks. First, you have learned, like Sir Proteus, to wreathe your arms like a malcontent, to relish a love song like a robin redbreast, to walk alone like one that had the pestilence, to sigh like a schoolboy that had lost his ABCs, to weep like a young wench that had buried her grandam, to fast like one that takes diet, to watch like one that fears robbing, to speak a-pulling like a beggar at Hallowmass. You were wont, when you laughed, to crow like a cock. When you walked, to walk like one of the lions. When you fasted, it was presently after dinner. When you looked sadly, it was for want of money. And now you are metamorphosed with a mistress, that when I look on you, I can hardly think you are my master. Are all these things perceived in me? They are all perceived without ye. Without me, they cannot. Without you, that's certain. For without you, you were so simple, none else would. But you are so without these follies, that these follies are within you and shine through you, like the water in a urinal. That not an eye that sees you, but is a physician to comment on your malady. But tell me, dost thou know my Lady Sylvia? She that you gaze on so as she sits at supper? Hast thou observed that? Even she, I mean. Why, sir, I know her not. Dost thou know her by my gazing on her, and yet know'st her not? Is she not hard favoured, sir? Not so, fair boy, as well favoured. Sir, I know that well enough. What dost thou know? That she is not so fair as of you well favoured. I mean that her beauty is exquisite, but her favour infinite. That's because the one is painted, and the other out of all count. How painted, and how out of count? Marry, sir, so painted to make her fair that no man counts of her beauty. How esteem'st thou of me I account of her beauty? You never saw her since she was deformed. How long has she been deformed? Ever since you loved her. I have loved her ever since I saw her, and still I see her beautiful. If you love her, you cannot see her. Why? 'Cause love is blind. Oh, that you had mine eyes, or your own eyes had the lights they were wont to have when you chide at Sir Proteus for going ungartered. What should I see then? Your own present folly, and her passing deformity. For he, being in love, could not see to garter his hose, and you, being in love, cannot see to put on your hose. Belike, boy, that you are in love, for last morning you could not see to wipe my shoes. True, sir, I was in love with my bed, I thank you. You swinged me for my love, which makes me the bolder to chide you for yours. In conclusion, I stand affected to her. I would you were set, so your affection would cease. Last night she enjoined me to write some lines to one she loves. And have you? I have. Are they not lamely writ? No, boy, but as well as I can do them. Peace, here she comes. Oh, excellent motion! Oh, exceeding puppet! Now will he interpret to her. Madam and mistress, 1,000 good morrows. Oh, give ye gooden, here's a million of manners. Sir Valentine and servant, to you 2,000. He should give her interest, and she gives it him. As you enjoined me, I have writ your letter, unto the secret nameless friend of yours, which I was much unwilling to proceed in, but for my duty to your ladyship. I thank you, gentle servant. 'Tis very clerkly done. Now trust me, madam, it came hardly off. For being ignorant to whom it goes, I writ at random, very doubtfully. Perchance you think too much of so much pains. No, madam, so instead you I will write. Please you command 1,000 times as much, and yet a pretty period. Well, I guess the sequel. And yet I will not name it, and yet I care not, and yet take this again. She offers him the letter. And yet I thank you, meaning henceforth to trouble you no more. And yet you will, and yet another yet. What means your ladyship? Do you not like it? Yes, yes, the lines are very quaintly writ, but since unwillingly, take them again. She offers him the letter again. Nay, take them, madam. They are for you. I, you writ them, sir, at my request, but I will none of them. They are for you. I would have had them writ more movingly. Please you, I'll write your ladyship another, and when it's writ, for my sake, read it over, and if it please you, so. If not, why, so. If it please me, madam, what then? Why, if it please you, take it for your labor. And so, good morrow, servant. Oh, jest unseen, inscrutable, invisible, as a nose on a man's face, or a weathercock on a steeple. My master sues to her, and she hath taught her suitor, he being her pupil, to become her tutor. Oh, excellent device! Was there ever heard a better? That my master, being scribe to himself, should write the letter. How now, sir? What are you reasoning with yourself? Nay, I was rhyming. 'Tis you that have the reason. To do what? To be a spokesman from Madame Sylvia. To whom? To yourself. Why, she woos you by a figure. What figure? By a letter, I should say. Why, she hath not writ to me. Why need she, when she hath made you write to yourself? Why do you not perceive the jest? No, believe me. No believing you indeed, sir. But did you perceive her earnest? She gave me none, except an angry word. Why, she hath given you a letter. That's the letter I writ to her friend. And that letter hath she delivered, and there an end. I would it were no worse. I'll warrant you 'tis as well, for often have you writ to her, and she in modesty, or else for want of idle time, could not again reply, or fearing else some messenger that might her mind discover, herself hath taught her love himself to write unto her lover. All this I speak in print, for in print I found it. Why muse you, sir? 'Tis dinner time. I have dined. Ay, but hearken, sir, though the chameleon love can feed on the air. I am one that am nourished by my victuals, and would fain have meat. Oh, be not like your mistress. Be moved. Be moved. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Proteus and Julia. Have patience, gentle Julia. I must, where is no remedy. When possibly I can, I will return. If you turn not, you will return the sooner. She gives him a ring. Keep this remembrance for thy Julia's sake. Why then, we'll make exchange. Here, take you this. He gives her a ring. And seal the bargain with a holy kiss. Here is my hand for my true constancy. And when that hour o'erslips me in the day, wherein I sigh not, Julia, for thy sake, the next ensuing hour some foul mischance torment me for my love's forgetfulness. My father stays my coming. Answer not, the tide is now. Nay, not thy tide of tears. That tide will stay me longer than I should. Julia, farewell. What, gone without a word? Aye, so true love should do, if it cannot speak. For truth hath better deeds than words to grace it. Sir Proteus, you are stayed for. Go, I come. Alas, this parting strikes poor lovers dumb. Act 2, Scene 3. Enter Lance with his dog Crab. Nay, 'twill this hour ere I have done weeping. All the kind of lances have this very fault. I have received my proportion like the prodigious sun, and I am going with Sir Proteus to the Imperial's court. I think Crab, my dog, be the sourest-natured dog that lives. My mother weeping, my father wailing, my sister crying, our maid howling, our cat wringing her hands, and all our house in great perplexity. Yet did not this cruel-hearted cur shed one tear. He is a stone, a very pebble stone, and has no more pity in him than a dog. A Jew would have wept to have seen our parting. Why, my grandam, having no eyes, look you, wept herself blind at my parting. Nay, I'll show you the manner of it. This shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my mother. Nay, that cannot be so neither, yet it is so. It is so. It has the worser soul. This shoe, with the hole in it, is my mother, and this my father. A vengeance on it, there 'tis. Now, sir, this staff is my sister, for look you, she is as white as a lily, and as small as a wand. This hat is Nan, our maid. I am the dog. No, the dog is himself, and I am the dog. Oh, the dog is me, and I am myself. Aye, so. Now come I to my father. Father, your blessing. Now should not the shoe speak a word for weeping? Now should I kiss my father? Well, he weeps on. Now come I to my mother. Oh, that she could speak now like a wood woman. Well, I kiss her. Why, there 'tis, here's my mother's breath, up and down. Now come I to my sister. Mark the moan she makes. Now the dog all this sheds not a tear, nor speaks a word, but see how I lay the dust with my tears. Lance, away, aboard. Thy master is shipped, and thou art to post after with oars. What's the matter? Why weep'st thou, man? Away, ass, you'll lose the tide if you tarry any longer. It is no matter if the tide were lost, for it is the unkindest tide that ever any man tied. What is the unkindest tide? Why, he that is tied here, Crab, my dog. Tut, man! I means thou lose the flood, and in losing the flood, lose thy voyage, and in losing thy voyage, lose thy master, and in losing thy master, lose thy service, and in losing thy service, silence! Why dost thou stop my mouth? For fear thou shouldst lose thy tongue. Why should I lose my tongue? In thy tail. In thy tail. Lose the tide, and the voyage, and the master, and the service, and the tide. Why, man, if the river were dried, I am able to fill it with my tears. And if the wind were drowned down, I could drive the boat with my sighs. Come, come away, man, I was sent to call thee. Sir, call me what thou darest. Wilt thou go? Well, I will go.